Taetske, welcome.
Thank you.
I've done a few workshops with you now,
Yeah.
and I noticed that it brings big changes to it. It can actually bring big changes to people, and they can suddenly decide. They can make decisions that are life changing. Their life can take a new direction.
That's true. Yeah.
Can you say something about that, maybe?
Yeah. It's actually, of course, very nice that things like that happen in people's lives, that things they had in their mind for doing for years and years, and all of a sudden they actually, manifest that.
Yeah.
And the same time, it's a little bit of a fall pit. Maybe I can say a little bit about that, because the clarity process actually does not have the aim to help you fulfill your wishes or desires. The main aim of the clarity process is to help you get in touch with reality, get in touch with the moment,
Okay.
and with the reality who you really are. And because that is so relaxing, the moment that it really happens, you feel so in tune with what is, that as a side effect, you stop worrying about a lot of things, and then it's kind of natural that the possibilities that are in life just, they just happen.
Okay.
And you don't block yourself for blossoming and for taking new directions in your life that feel good for you. But it's a fall pit, because when your focus changes from getting in touch with reality, with the here and now, with who you really are and what your relationship with existence is, when that focus changes to, oh my God, all of a sudden I can realize some things in my life, or some things come into my life that I never have dreamt that they could come true, then you kind of drift away again from reality. And if you drift away from reality, your old subconscious defense system starts to be activated again, and you're lost.
Fears kick back in.
Your fears kick back in. Exactly. Yeah. So I love it that that happens to people, but at the same time you have to stay clear what makes it possible to have these natural changes, and that is your relationship with the moment, with the simple moment, the moment like this, your relationship with your chair, your relationship with the walls, with the air, with the beating of your heart, with everything that's here.
It's so simple and yet so difficult.
Yeah.
To reach.
It's not difficult to reach because it is already here, but the mind, over all the years, the mind became so good in dealing with complicated things that if you say to the mind, oh, it's okay, you don't have to deal with these complicated things anymore, you can just deal with simple things, somehow it takes a while to digest. And because it is as if you have worked on a book for years and years and years to solve a very, very complicated problem, and just before the end someone says to you, I'm sorry, but this problem doesn't exist. And it can be hard to let go of all this work and really, really let it in that it has been a waste of time.
To all this worrying we do.
I'm afraid so.
It's a waste of time. Okay. But people would come in with all sorts of problems.
Yes.
And they maybe join a clarity course to solve these problems.
Yes.
To get rid of their problems.
Yes.
And to fulfill their wishes.
Yes. And actually, it's not that you need your problems, but you need to be ready to acknowledge your problems, because all your problems and wishes can show you where your doors are shut towards reality. Because if we always like to work at fulfilling our desires, getting more successful, manifesting our dreams, and it helps you a lot if you see that your desires or your dreams are somehow connected with your fears.
Okay.
And that it might be so that you striving for these positive things might be a disguised way of running from your fears.
Okay.
And if you see that, then probably suddenly makes much more sense to actually look at what's behind there. Because if you see that you're striving for a desire is running away from a fear, then you can see that for relaxation, you somehow have to bring both together to the 0 point where the now is.
Yeah.
And with clarity, you are invited to somehow open up to the idea that the moment has the capability of fulfilling you fully. Because the mind feels I can only be happy if I am like this, if I have that, if this or that happens in my life. And the mind is kind of caught up in that. But if the mind can see by this I'm running away from fears, you can somehow invite also the mind to start looking at the here and now as an alternative.
Right.
And
the fears are based in the past, and the desires are in the future. Is
Yeah.
that the way to look at it?
yeah, you could
And
say that.
here and now is no past and no future.
The here and now is just what is here.
What is here?
But it really has to do with opening up to the idea that the simplicity of the moment can fulfill you totally. And maybe I can say it in a more simple way, because if you go in a fantasy where you kind of in your fantasy fulfill your desire, and you go look behind it, what it gives to you, first maybe happiness, but if you allow this happiness in your body, you will feel that what it gives to your body is relaxation and your energy flowing and expanding. And it is this goal that will be fulfilled when you really connect with the here and now. So the super aim, so to say, you can discover that it's actually the super aim is when you're in that house in France that you would like, that you imagine, oh, then I can sit in my garden and just relax and enjoy life. And all of a sudden you go, hey, I might do that right now.
It is right here.
It is right here. It's a little bit like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. But disguised in there is that we carry these old fears from our past. And if you stop running towards your desires, you also start looking on what is here and now inside of you. And when there are still old fears inside of you, you also stop running from them.
Yeah.
And good news is that if the moment is okay, all your fears are fantasy fears. They come somehow from memory, which is another form of fantasy. Not because it has not happened, but because at the moment it is not happening.
They're not real.
They're not really happening right now. And that takes a while for you and for your mind and even for your subconscious mind to grasp. But if you grasp that, you will see that behind every fear is also a door to reality, like there is behind every desire. And then it's really good to be honest for your fears and your desires, because they somehow show you where you can find your way back to truth.